Clarity, creativity, courage. Three powerful products of a calm and regulated mind. And I've come to discover that these are the real drivers of wealth. And all of them have a lot to do with our internal state. You see, many times people think they are dealing with a money problem, but I've seen that it's more of an internal regulation issue, a nervous system issue. If you're constantly operating from a place of fear, pressure, or being in survival mode, there's every tendency, a 99.9% chance, that you would block or misuse the very opportunities that were meant to elevate you financially simply because your mind could not handle it. I came across a post very recently about where people discussing the need to borrow money to put into business. And someone was saying that women are adverse to taking such loans. I took my time to go through comments, and every comment, practically every comment I saw, confirmed that fear. Why is it that the men are not adverse to risk taking? They are willing to go all out. Even when sometimes they get the inkling that it will not work, they will just say all that and that and they go through with it. But women, on the other hand, were very careful. A lot of the comments I saw were like, this 3-5 where I borrow from OP, then they call me or Okash or something like that, you know. And we were all laughing about it. But for me, it revealed a deeper problem, that the money problem we think we are dealing with is more of our internal state. If we cannot come to a place where we overcome this fear, we'll always be playing small. We'll always be playing safe, though we have access to ideas, resources, and even finances. We will always be playing small because our mind has not yet captured it. Let me talk a bit about David. You see, before ever the throne came, there was Goliath. While everyone was overwhelmed with fear, David remained confident, not because Goliath was no longer a giant, but because his faith and confidence in God was way bigger. You see, that level of mind regulation is what you need to win the game of life. Now, when your system is overwhelmed, your focus shifts to survival rather than expansion. And this is what keeps you playing small. Let's go back to the case of Goliath. The method he used, his strategy, was fear. And I tell you, it hasn't changed. So by showing up every day, morning and evening, to make boast, to brag, the army of Israel, who had faced worse things, were cowering in fear. They couldn't see past what was before them. Thank God for a man like David. Though exposed to the same situation, his mind, captured differently, he chose to see the God of the army of Israel. It was no longer about him. That level of confidence, that level of mind regulation is what you need to win the game of life. It is believing it, acting it, and then seeing your realities change in alignment to what you have adopted to be your truth. Some people say it's fake it till you make it, but no, that's not how it works. You regulate your mind to get to that point. And that's why scripture says in Isaiah 26 verse 3 that God will keep in perfect peace the man whose mind is stayed on him. Problems may abound, pressures may abound, challenges may abound, but where your mind concentrates and focuses on is what gives you the strength to walk on water. No, this time around, the Red Sea doesn't part. This time around, that river doesn't part, but Peter actually walks on it. That's exactly how it works. And so I'm so concerned about our emotional and mental wellness because often we overlook it and we think it's not enough to go see the doctors. It's not enough to go see someone. It's not enough to go seek counseling. But for pain, physical wounds, physical scars, the headaches, we can relate to that. But what we fail to realize is that the internal eventually controls what happens externally. And it's not just about symptoms, it's the entirety of our lives and our results. We'll be casting and binding, praying and praying and praying. But if we don't listen for the answers, we may not know that what God is saying to us is inside. We need to get to a point where we find peace, where we find confidence, where we no longer give ourselves those small internal talks that make us go down and down because of the situation and surrounding circumstances, but where we begin to find our true identity in God. So you see, our emotional wellness, our mental wellness, they work hand in hand to give us the kind of results that our life has. What is emotional wellness? How well we are able to handle our feelings. And our mental wellness talks about how well we are able to handle our thoughts. And they work together because eventually how we think determines how we feel. And how we feel determines how we think and act. So what will it be today? Will you leave yourself stuck in the place of fear? Will you allow feelings to guide you? Or will you allow yourself come to a point where you regulate your mind and thoughts so that it can shape the entirety of your life? I'm sure you already know that the latter is better for you. If you already knew that, you're welcome. I just reminded you. But if you didn't, now you know.